After 32 years, the Prairie Dog is shutting down. This includes its sister paper, Saskatoon's Planet S. They told local stories and famously provided the best of lists and much more, as well as talking about many community events that sometimes go overlooked. Their websites officially turned the lights off on September 30th. Stephen Whitworth is the editor of both publications, and he joins me now in studio. Good morning, Stephen.
Morning, Adam.
So, Stephen, what does this mean to you with the papers shutting down here at the end of the month?
It's a strange position for me to be in because I feel like I have to be outraged on behalf of the business that I love and that I've worked for and been a worker owner of for decades now. People in media don't like to talk about themselves as much as some might think, and even at Prairie Dog, where we really prized bringing in personal expression and idiosyncrasy into our writing, it still isn't something that we wanted to be about us. It's about what's happening in the community and what we can bring the community that it wouldn't otherwise have. So I'm kind of conflicted. I'm really, really angry on our own behalf. I don't think this did not have to happen, even given all the forces working against local media. And I'm also sad, but I'm also very proud of what we did over the years. And my gosh, I sure had a lot of fun personally. It just the best kind of, maybe for me anyway, the best kind of media to work in.
What could have happened? You mentioned this didn't have to happen. What could have saved these papers?
Well, as we know, the advertising market increasingly has gone to social media. That was always going to do damage to other media outlets, and you can't stop change, and that's fine. But having said that, you can adapt to change and cushion industries that are in a desperate situation. And federally, Canada has done a little bit of that, but not enough. Definitely not enough locally. Far too many barriers raised to accessing funding. Provincially, I don't think the government ever did anything. It would have maybe been nice if Scott Moe spent less time heading off to China and more time looking at things that were falling apart in his own province's backyard. But again, we were a paper that once the Sask Party was elected, we were within a few months removed from virtually all Crown advertising buys. Listeners can make their own judgments about what that means, and it's certainly something that we never felt comfortable complaining about at the volume we probably should have over the years. But, that was the first major blow, and it led to immediate layoffs at both papers, and this is way back in 2008. And since then, like all media outlets, it's just one thing after another. But I am upset that so much of the advertising and marketing community excluded us from buys. When you can walk into any washroom and see ads above urinals, you can see sandwich boards everywhere. It seems like every advertising option someone can reach for that isn't a media outlet that's actually putting something back into the community is favored. And people in a society, in a city, they get the culture and the city that they support. You grow the crops that you water, and it's really terrible what's happened to media, and I think it's just terrible that we've been forced out of business.
The irony there with what you're describing is in many of these places you'll see a Prairie Dog, something framed with the Prairie Dog on it because it's a best of list. Some of you're talking about not having advertising, but some of these places, what you were doing was advertising, a local business that had won an award and people would proudly display those, and you can still see those in businesses all across the city.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up because I was in a restaurant Saturday night and saw one of our best of posters, and I was wondering if I should just steal it out of spite. I didn't.
Yeah.
And it was a restaurant that hadn't advertised despite
putting
getting
up
all this free. Yeah,
it's the double-edged.
Yeah, well, sorry, I don't want to take your interview away
Yeah, no,
from
no,
you.
no. It's an observation I've had as well, and you're bringing that up, talking about the lack of maybe support in the community for advertising in the newspaper. At the same time, a lot of places are advertising the Prairie Dog by accepting the award on behalf of the readers. That's something I think that people, will have fond memories of because it's something that, highlighted things in the community, all sorts of different topics. What are you most proud of? I know it's hard to capture this many years, but when you think of that, when someone asks you that question, what comes to mind with what the paper's done?
Well, just about the best of Regina quickly. I'm proud of it, and I often had a lot of fun doing it. It was getting harder and harder to do as support for it dried up. But that was a lot of fun. But I'm most proud that we consistently presented fact-based and frothily articulated stories on human rights, on climate change, on LGBTQ issues, on addictions, treatment and a drug crisis being a health problem, not a criminal problem largely, homelessness, poverty, wealth inequality, all that kind of stuff. And we won't be doing any more stories on that because we were forced out of business by low revenue. And it's, I wish I wish we had more advocates, but we were such a small shop. Between two papers at our peak, I think we had 17 staff, and as we shut down, we had 2 staff left.
What does this mean for the media landscape in these two cities with naming the multitude of issues that were covered that maybe don't get the same coverage from mainstream media?
Well, I think our long, slow decline followed by our death, it takes out media diversity. It takes out of diversity of viewpoints, which is critical. I would never have said people should only read Prairie Dog or Planet S. I would have said it's an important part of a balanced media diet. And I would have said that because it's funny and we like to be playful and have fun as well. I think it's really important to do that. I think I look back now at our calendar events, the fact that we ran a listings calendar and a free pickup biweekly for so long. And I think that, you can probably find experts to talk to who would be able to do actual analyses, but I think that was millions of dollars of value to the city's cultural and event infrastructure and its civic infrastructure. People talk about civic society while having newspapers that are independent from everything and kind of scrappy and a little bit amateurish, but also really professional and playful. You got to have that. And, I feel like there's a tension in Canada, in our country, in our provinces, and in our cities where we're struggling between the concepts of being a society with arts and culture and information and ideals and a business model for people to make more money. Do Canadians want to be citizens or do they want to be consumers? Well, losing a paper like Prairie Dog pushes our city a step farther away from being a city and closer towards being a business model for people who own things and sell things.
Stephen, really appreciate your time. Thanks so much, and congratulations on the Prairie Dog and Planet S and their legacy.
Thanks so much. And any readers who want to support us in our closing down costs can go to our website and find ways to help.